is obviously going to be in there. You got Dontre and Curtis. Harris, I don't know how Harris doesn't start. He's had a really interior corner. He's had a really good camp. Austin Mack will be in the mix. Who am I missing?
Corey Smith.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we got, it's a little bit of a rotation right now. And Haskins is pushing Joe Burrow a little bit. They're both not where we need them to be, but both I like both quarterbacks.
What about some wide receivers like KJ Hill, Torrance
KJ's in
Gibson?
the mix. Torrance Gibson had a hamstring. He missed about 10 practices. And he just went today for the first time in about 2 weeks, so it's been a tough go for him. But KJ's in the mix as well.
Thank you.
Front row right, Bill.
Dave asked you about the wide receivers. I mean, how many positions are still open, and are you?
I'll just go through with you. That gives me a chance to think too. So offensive line, you got Pat practiced. You know, he had the shoulder issue, so he's starting to go now. He's been very controlled up to this point. Billy, Michael Jordan right now is leading the other three. Burrell and Knox on their heels. Right tackle is Isaiah, left tackle Jamarco. So that's the offensive line. Tight end Marcus Ball. I just don't know right now. AJ is a minor ankle sprain in and out, so he's practicing through it though. And then the young freshman has still ways to go. Jake Housen is a little bit ahead of Luke. Receiver we just talked about. Running back Mike Weber's going to separate himself. He's if he continues, I'll hope we can make a phone call later on this week to call home and tell him he's a starting tailback for Ohio State. Not yet though. D-line, you got Sprinkle and Mike Hill have had solid camp. They're being pushed real hard though by Tremont and a kid named Devon Hamilton. And then even the threes are going. Josh Alibite and Willie Barrow and Landers was dinged up a little bit, but he's trying to come back. Jay Shaw's the one that's had a little bit of a groin injury. He has missed about 5-6 days, and he was doing good before he got hurt. On the end, you got Hubbard and Taekwon, and then Jalen's pushing those guys, Jalen Holmes. And Nick Bosa will be very smart with how hard we throw him in the mix, but he'll obviously be in that rotation. Middle linebackers, Raekwon, middle linebacker, we're going to make the call this week to Book if he has another good day. And Worley will make that call this week as a lockout, as a Sam linebacker. Safety, Malik Hooker and Damon Webb right now are starters. We haven't made the call yet, so they're in running with the ones, I should say, not starters. And then corners, that's Garion's a starter, and then you got three guys playing for that other spot, and we'll probably play more than one. And it's Ward, Marshawn Lattimore. God bless him. He's first time in 3 years he's had a full camp of practice. Really done well. And the other guy that's really coming on is David Arnett.
And you've got such a small senior group. Is leadership a concern?
Yeah, I think good though. This is going to be good. I mean, it's got a little ugly there for a while, which camps do, but they come out the other end pretty good. So I'm pleased with the leadership right now. And I think our coaches are providing. I like our coaching staff right now, doing a good job.
Far right here, Austin.
Urban, you've gone through some of these quarterback to wide receiver transitions in the past. Braxton did it, Jalen out of high school, Terrell Pryor's doing it with the Browns. How do you take a guys like to play quarterback, they have the ball in their hands. What do you see in a player to make that move? How does that come to be?
Joe Hayden was another one. You know, at some point they come to us. Usually we don't say, hey, we want you to move. Not one time when we say, hey, we want you to move. They come to us and they want to play. And so Torrance Gibson, you know, I think in practice we asked him about, but he asked to stay. Braxton Miller, he came to me. Joe Hayden came to me. Who's the other one, Jalen? Yeah, Jalen. That was kind of
Because Hugh Jackson was saying a couple weeks ago that he was hesitant to tell Terrell that he should probably move if he wanted to stay in the NFL. But that's not an issue you've had with these guys trying to be.
No, once again, I've never had to sit down and say, I think you should move. They come to me and, you know, Joe Hayden came and said, you mind if I try corner? Great idea. And in 5 minutes, he was starting corner at Florida. Braxton came to me and said, you know, I think for my career, what do you think? I said, you're probably right. So, I know what you're getting at. We never had to sit down and say, I think you should move.
Yeah.
We've been lucky about that.
Fourth row right, Nick.
When you have a team that's this inexperienced, do you get to a point where you're comfortable that they're ready? And have you gotten there yet?
No, we're not there yet, but yeah, that's the whole thing about game ready. When each coach has a checklist of players, There's a little green mark that says that you've been getting your reps. Next to the name also lists how many practices they've made. And then at some point, that green marker, it's going to be this, and then when you get the line through it that way, that means you're ready to go play. And it's going to be so critical this year, more than ever with a young team. But it's got to be clear to them too what you have to do to get ready. And that's what I think I like what our staff's doing right now.
Far left, Matt.
You mentioned going into last week how important it was with the 9 practices in 6 days. You said you feel good how you are coming out. What did you learn about your team meeting last week with the young guys that makes you feel good about what you're doing?
Just what I said, that I don't feel resistance whatsoever, which I would be crushed if I did with a young team. If you have resistance with a young team, get ready for a couple bad years coming up. And I don't feel that at all.
We've been also seeing, you've been taking a lot of black stripes off with the freshman class. Your impressions of what you're seeing of
Yeah, I love this class. We just had Jordan Fuller and Keandre Jones got off today, and also Josh Alabine. He had that tough pulmonary embolism thing, and he's doing. I really love that guy. He's not ready yet, and maybe pulled it off a little premature, but everybody appreciates how hard he goes. So that's why we did that. I love our freshman class.
Second row left, Ari.
Urban, speaking of black stripes, I think we obviously understand that when they get it removed that they're officially a Buckeye. I don't know how much we can infer based on when these stripes are coming off people, how they're acclimating to the program. I don't know if it's that in-depth with you guys. Some people get it taken off 2 days into it and some take a year. What's the difference between those two situations and how much can we take from how well somebody's doing?
I think you take a lot. It's we have all kinds of different ways of, it's the blue, red, gold too. We probably don't release that to you guys what category they're in, but they earn it, and it really doesn't have a lot to do with playing time and all that. It has to do with just practicing at the tempo, 4 to 6 A to B, living our culture on and off the field, and doing those type of things. And some guys have their stripes on for quite a while.
So if
That's
somebody,
an indicator that they're not quite doing what we asked them to do.
so if somebody takes a year, that's not ideal.
No, I guess that's a politically correct way of saying that's not good. It's ideal, right?
It said not
It's a
ideal.
much
Yeah.
kinder way of saying it. It is not ideal.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that it was fair to infer that maybe they weren't, if you know what I mean.
It's not ideal.
Front row right, Tim.
Yeah, Urban, 2 quickies. Number one, Curtis Samuel, how would you describe sort of like, I guess, what he means to this football team this year? He could be a hybrid back, he could be a running back. I mean,
I think he's our #1 playmaker on offense right now. And he's got to stay healthy, and he's got to go. And I just love his skill set. And he's got to have him ranked #1 as a playmaker on offense.
And number two, you posted the video. You didn't post it, but it was posted on your Twitter thing of Larry Johnson stirring up the troops the other day and stuff, and he does it without ever dropping an F-bomb or anything like that. How would you describe his manner of getting guys ready to play without cursing?
Unique. He's been around other coaches like that, and I think it's a great message to all of us. But he's not a guy that, be careful how I say this, that he's not says one thing and does the other. He's very, very true to himself, true to his players, true to our program. Larry Johnson is very valuable, very talented coach, very talented speaker, and that's why it's the reason why I picked him. The reason why I picked Harry Combs to go get in there and do it. We don't try to wait. If you'll notice too, if we have nothing to say, then we don't just talk. You don't hear that every day, and there's certain days when I feel that's necessary. And unfortunately, I have several good coaches that doing it.
Far left, Doug.
Urban, you talked about getting game ready and checking guys off on. How many times in your career have you ever gone into a season and felt like we're not game ready, or we have a lot of guys who aren't game ready?
Off the top of my head, I can't recall.
But it has happened.
Oh, sure. Yeah, it's schematics, and then first of all, personnel and then scheme, and it's going to be insane around here as far as I need to see everything. Every player has to be appointed game ready before they can play. And that means I'll adjust practice schedules accordingly, but that's what's going on every day. Our coaches have a sheet I'll sit down in the staff meeting and say, is Austin Mack game ready? Well, he's had a bunch of reps, he's made 24 practices out of 25, whatever it is. We'll go through each player, and that player's not allowed to play unless he's game ready.
So, do sometimes you have to play guys who aren't
Sure.
game ready because you don't have enough guys
Well,
who
you
aren't?
don't do a good job as a staff. You know,
Yeah.
But and it's my job to really press that with the coaches. If this kid's not game ready, why? And let's make sure we get it to that. That's our job to get him ready. If he's flat, the issue is not he's not good enough. We all been in those situations. He's not good enough to play, but you're stuck. That won't happen. We have good enough players.
It just seems, with replacing that, so many starters to replace him, it just seemed like maybe if there ever was a year of like, hey, are we going to be ready or not? This would be the kind of year.
Right.
But it seems like you're standing here
Yeah, if we
feeling
stay,
pretty good.
we got to stay healthy because our twos are not. I think our ones are pretty salty guys. There is some depth in some positions. For example, the offensive line. Our twos are not good enough. If the two goes in the game right now, it's not good enough.
And last couple questions, far left, Mitch.
Without a guy like Zeke to carry the load offensively, how much of a sense of urgency is there to get the young receivers where they need to be, get the passing game where it needs to be?
Yeah, that we have to. You're right. That was a little bit of a crutch last year. You had the best tailback in the country and went and down handed to Zeke. And we want to be much more balanced. I want to see in 14 we're much more between the quarterback throw, quarterback run, and obviously receivers making plays. It was much more efficient last year. But that's what we have to be.
And last question, Clay.
A lot of booms going off around here in a recruiting sense. Somebody put it that you're not recruiting, you're selecting. Has it ever, you're on a roll, correct?
I know I heard a big boom out on the field today. And we like booms around here, so you're never at that point. We got to hang on too. Signing day's a long ways away, so we just got to do. Usually a commitment means you're in the game pretty good with them. Doesn't mean it's done, so we need to keep recruiting.
Great. Coach,
Thanks.
thank you very much.
Thanks.